Holy cow. Welcome to Donnie's Hangout Adventures. And, yep, James Earl Jones died yesterday. 93. You know, he lived a long life. You know, death is part of this. Even the Star Wars universe it is. And, you know, when you think of distinguished voice actors, God, James Earl Jones, I think there's James Earl Jones and Morgan Freeman and everybody else. I always had a dream that these two can narrate something so boring like paper clips. Because let's be honest, these two could have made you not fall asleep. You'd be interested in hearing about paper clips because their voices are so distinguished. And Jones, yeah, he had one of the most distinguished voices in history. And you know, I think it's becoming a lost art on acting. Is a lot of these great actors got their start on Broadway by doing Shakespeare. It's becoming a lost art because they knew how to act and how to keep the audience's attention, and they had some distinguished voices. And James Earl Jones, yes, he's most known for Darth Vader voice. Did you know that almost didn't happen? When George Lucas was filming the original Star Wars, the very first one, back in 1977, the actor inside the Darth Vader costume, which is something that's been lost over time, the person inside the costume was an England actor. And he did the dialogue. He did all the dialogue for the movie, and George Lucas was like, I'm not happy with it. Can you imagine Darth Vader having an England-sounding accent? Probably wouldn't have worked as well. No question, it wouldn't have. And so Lucas went out and got another actor with a more distinguished voice. And when you think of Darth Vader, you all automatically think of that voice. James Earl Jones. He brought so much to that role that it was hard to hate Darth Vader because of that voice, which was extremely distinguished. And of course, everybody tries quoting one of the most famous quotes, and they get it wrong. They always say that Darth Vader, James Earl Jones, says, Luke, I am your father. No, he never said, Luke, I am your father. He said, I am your father. They seem to get that quote wrong. But listen, James Earl Jones was much more than a one-trick pony in Star Wars. Let's be honest. He was much more than that. That's the thing that always gets brought up in Star Wars, which is rightfully so. It was his career-defining role. There's no question about it. And that's the one that always gets brought up, but they tend to forget some of his other roles, like Roots. That tends to be forgotten. They tend to forget Field of Dreams. They really forget Field of Dreams, and he has, a quote in there, people will come. They tend to forget that. They tend to forget that he was in The Lion King as Mustafa, with some great lines in that movie also, like some of these is almost poetic when you think about it. Everything you see exists because it exists together in a delicate balance. Something like Star Wars, doesn't it? When we die, our bodies become the grass. And and another thing about James Earl Jones, he wasn't just a drama actor. He played in a different variety of television shows in his later career, when his career was pretty much winding down. He wasn't going to have no more dramatic appearances in movies and stuff, and he would appear in Two and a Half Men. Very funny role for him. He did pretty well with. He was like a preacher or something, doing a eulogy for a funeral. This is when Charlie Sheen was still on 2.5 Men. And then he did Big Bang Theory, which was a funny scene. He had never met Carrie Underwood on the Star Wars set, which is funny because he was just doing voiceover, and that's all he was doing, so he didn't get to meet any of the actors. And so he got to be in an episode of the Big Bang Theory with Carrie Fisher. And there was a line in the series, he goes, "I like Star Wars too," which is just funny coming from James Earl Jones when he was in Star Wars. Sort of, he only did voiceovers. But anyway, one of the most distinguished voice actors in history, like I said towards the beginning, and I wish I could talk more about James Earl Jones because his work it's not appreciated enough how great of an actor he was, how great of a human being he was, and it's one of the great ones gone. I know he was 93, so he probably died of old age, but one of the greatest actors to ever live. I know that may be going a little far, but let's be honest. Whenever you've seen the James Earl Jones movie on, you automatically stop what you were doing because that voice is so distinguished. It's just so distinguished. It's up there with Morgan Freeman. I mean, like I said earlier, they could do a documentary of paper clips. Anybody else, you'd find it boring. With Jones and Morgan Freeman, you didn't. Now, Morgan Freeman's still alive right now, but James Earl Jones, well, passed away. And another one from Star Wars universe is up there in heaven, doing their rendition of Star Wars. And you know what? Rest in peace to somebody that was much, much, much more than just Star Wars. That's what we were best remembered for, is for Star Wars. You know what? Rest in peace. And last thing to say is, you don't know the power of the dark side. Me and Mom are saying, that's all for now.
That's all for now.